Been in this fight since I was 6. Then I met a hot chick named Bix, but I'm a rebel, little tiny rebel. Ever feel like you're gonna die, hugging a stranger next to a blind guy on a beach somewhere? Would you even care? Oh, Bix, hottest of the Star Wars chicks. Why'd you have to fuck that guy under the Ferric sky? Oh, Bix, hottest of the Star Wars chicks. Why'd you have to fuck that guy under our Ferric sky?
With MakingStarWars.net.
The opening song, that was the band The Bixies. You might have heard of them, The Bixies. How's it going, Rob?
Yeah. How proud of you yourself when you thought about that one? Did you pat yourself on? It's like it had to be similar to when I thought of the FBI, right? so proud of myself.
Yeah, and Santa was like, "Oh, defund the FBI." Sorry, Santa. Sorry. But yeah, do what Dell says and like the video. Thank you, Dell. And so we got like a little baby, little tiny scoop today. My half sister, Bespin Bulletin, she told me something pretty cool, and it's what we think is Cassian's sister's name during production, and pretty sure it's right because it seems like Cassian's parents were those lame people. They're like, oh, what if some of our kids have names that start with like K's so that they're all cute together? It kind of has that kind of thing going for it.
Her name's Kit Kat. Tell me it's Kit Kat.
And then like Tim. They use the name Tim in Andor, so they add like an extra M. So this kind of has
like Bruce Tim.
Yeah. So this is so he's Kassa, Kassa. And she's Carrie, Kerri. Oh my God, you guys! It's after Carrie Fisher.
No, now I know what happened to the planet. She went to the prom.
Oh, she started pig's blood. And she's like,
yeah. It was force powers though this time. It was it's a legit.
Yeah,
dude, you gotta listen to that Paul Hirsch or read the Paul Hirsch book. The co-editor on A New Hope, right? Like because he edited Carrie, and he just gets into the whole making of like that and like the scenes and the way they had to like edit. And he shot De Palma like shot everything with the split screen. Like, so he'd only show like half the fucking, he cut off half the film. So there was only half this fucking frame. and so he was like, you're committed to it. You have to do it. And it didn't work. They had to go back and fix it. He had to fix it. So he put a little bit of it and it was crazy. It's a crazy story, man.
Yeah. So
getting to the Star Wars stuff soon. Can't wait.
So that was some Bespin love for the Making Star Wars show. So thank you, Mr. Bespin.
Thanks,
stepfather.
Bespin. Thanks again,
Coach.
Bespin.
Coach.
Really appreciate it, Bespin.
Coach Bulletin.
First one to die on Cheers. Just letting
oh no, Coach.
Coach went.
And then the nice guy became the bad guy that Han Solo killed. Dell.
I was gonna thought you were gonna say her name was Kirsty, like for a second there. I was like, no. Oh,
yeah. And then we got Rhea Perlman. She's in Bad Batch. We kind of having a little. They need to meet up in the show. We need the guy from Solo: A Star Wars Story to show up in Bad Batch and be like.
She's essentially a Mando as well, if you think about it. Like
she's kind of part of the family. She's a part of the family. Dell says that Carrie makes sense. Yeah, I think it does. I think it tracks. Bestman's got the best bits. That's Bix, actually. You are wrong again, as a Drew. Wrong again. Sorry.
You think Real Perlman would seduce a Jawa? I think she would. I think she'd be up for that.
Nah, I think she would actually rough up Mando and somehow get him aroused, and then we would learn that they made sweet love. I think she'd always be hitting. She'd always be like batting above her station, so to speak, and that's why I love her.
Married to Danny DeVito for a long time, bro. I don't know about that.
Oh, that's real life. We're not talking. We're talking like Cheers logic.
She
for the
slept
most
with
part.
the penguin.
Yeah.
I love him, but you know what I mean. You got to be in love.
I don't know.
You got to be in love with the Jawa.
But
I like to think that she smacked him around too. You know what I mean? Bam! He's like, do it again. Oh, quick thought, by the way, I was having the other day. If they ever remake Twins, I want it to be Chris Hemsworth and Matt Berry.
Oh, all right. Yeah. I'd watch that. Yeah. Okay, let's go over to bestmanbulletin.com.
Ooh.
There it is.
This is Adam Driver for a second.
Everyone, this is a Star Wars website. It is http // www for World Wide Web bestmanbulletin.com /2022/09/ Ariel Klingman will direct the first 3 episodes of Andor season 2 / and don't forget the dashes. So
that guy
Ariel
could play Bill Waters if you hit a movie, man. Give him some glasses.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah,
I can't rock that stash.
His, you know, he's like a movie maker, but and like like when he's like out in like the real world, people are like, he looks like Adam Driver, but he doesn't, but he's like still slaying it from that. So good work.
You know Ariel. What he looks like? You know when they look at Renaissance paintings and they see modern people in it, he looks like one of those Renaissance paintings. You go, Madam Driver existed in the 1500s.
So this is the actual Kylo Ren, and what we saw was the painting, like the cast version.
To be fair, Casa loves to whack on machines with sticks, so it all works out. It's all tying together.
The guy who met Bix and forgot to go find his sister for 10 years. The first season, of course, I'm joking, but there will probably be people who take that perspective seriously eventually.
Yes, they will.
Because they're dumb. Because they're like that.
It's going to be a talking point on Dead of Stupid tomorrow.
All right. The first season of Andor. Excuse me. I just burped in the mic. But that copy was good. I have no regrets. The first season of Andor debuted earlier this week to much critical acclaim, and once again to individual fan opinion. God, Bestman's a little bit of a fascist. You guys notice that? I personally adored it. And pre-production on the second and final season is already well underway in the United Kingdom. Today, however, The Hollywood Reporter has revealed a new director for the upcoming second season. THR have revealed that Ariel Klingman will direct the first block of episodes for season 2. And one thing that to note is I heard at the start of the week that they were starting to build sets at Pinewood. So the big Pinewood sets are starting to be constructed now. We know that the second season will consist of 12 episodes, just like season, I think it means season 1. With past interviews with showrunner Tony Gilroy, the second season will operate in blocks of 3, just like the first, meaning Klingman will helm episodes 1 to 3 of season 2. I concur.
You gotta say it in that Jesse Pinkman voice. It's gonna air in blocks of 3, bitch. You know?
Bitch. Yeah.
Bitch.
Yeah. Ariel Klingman doesn't have a long resume when it comes to directing television, but his most recent work has been received well. Klingman directed episode of The Cox Resort this year. a series executive produced by Mr. Robot Mastermind, Sam Esmail, who they kept trying to get on Star Wars, but it never seemed to click. Last year, Kleinman also directed episodes of the critical and mainstream hit from Showtime, Yellow Jackets. Yellow Jackets. Outside of Kleinman, no other directors have been revealed to helm episodes of Andor's second season, but showrunner and writer Tony Gilroy had hoped he'd be able to film a block after being unable to direct any of season one. We're missing the E there. Just gonna help him out here. But the demands of the showrunning has prevented him from handling any directorial duties. Gilroy added that there was a fantasy that he could direct the final 3 episodes, but it's proven unfruitful. So I still think it could happen, but it probably won't. Speaking with THR, Gilroy had also reiterated that season 2 begins filming in November, confirming 2 independent reports from April, one from myself and one from Making Star Wars. And I believe that it's going to be at Pinewood and Elstree. Which that's at Pinewood, like I said, having started going up this week. Probably slowly. I don't know how fast they're going to start. I don't actually have anything on that. The second season will film from November until August, with a release sometime later half of 2024. So, and then if you want to give Bestman some money, you can. If you want to give me some money, you can. I'll fucking take that shit. I'll spend it. I'll fucking spend it all. So,
and it's all going to the sweet factory. Nothing but sour tape and those little gummy frogs with the foam on them.
Is everybody okay about Tim? Is everybody okay? Because, I mean, if you guys need to talk about Tim, just let us know, because we feel for you right now. We do.
I guarantee you, Tim would have showed up to January 6th. So don't.
Everybody keeps making Tim like he's got like big dick swagger. I gotta say, Tim's a big guy with little dick swagger inside. I mean, the January 6th guys do too. But what I'm trying to say is, I don't think Tim's a fighter. I don't think
Dude,
Tim. I think Tim's making pumpkin spice lattes, reading the fucking Huffington Post.
Tim was getting like intimidated by the other guy at the payphone.
Intimidated?
Yeah, intimidated
With
by
2
the
M's?
other guy by the other guy at the payphone. There's another alien who goes.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. I don't think
What are you talking about? Some dude fucking goes. I'm like, fuck off. Like
yeah,
bitch.
I think Tim's like, Bix, should I do it harder, Bix? And she's like, yeah. And he's like, okay, Bix, is that too hard, Bix? She's like, no. And he's like, okay, Bix. That's a Tim. And he also tells you it's Tim with 2 M's. He also tells you that too.
But they're not where you think. And you're like, how is that possible? They should be right where I think they are. All right.
Funny little side story. When I was working the back stuff for Rogue One and doing the old scoop stuff, what's his name? Aaron Paul? From
2 A's.
Breaking Bad with 2 A's, like Tim. He was almost Cassian, but when he was almost Cassian, he was like a final contender for the part. He was making it to he was like one of the final choices. The character's name was Willix, and I actually put it on Making Star Wars. It's out. It's out there saying that he was like a contender, and then later on, the trades confirmed it. And I had heard his name was Willix, and then later on, they started using Willix as a name that Cassian went under as like his like code name or like his like secret name, alias or whatever. And so which also further confirmed that stuff was on back then. And so I kind of think that the name Andor was always there, but Cassian was his new name once they started to like go a different way in casting. I think some of the early stuff in this series is Gilroy trying to like sort of make this stuff tonally sit right with himself. That's like a personal theory I have. I want to ask him someday, when he and I are just like, just hanging out, jamming, playing some tunes, smoking a couple of the J's, the things like me and Gilroy do. And that's what I'm going to ask him. But I try to keep it cool right now. You know, like I don't ask him that stuff. I just like, you know, ask him like life advice and stuff, you know.
Well, when I was ironically enough, when I was fan casting my fan script for the Will Smith Superman movie I was putting together in the early 2000s, right? In my own head. Old Aaron Paul was my choice for Jimmy Olsen because I saw him in that Van Wilder movie I had to sit through. And I was like, there's your Jimmy Olsen, because I figured Jason Mewes was too old at the time. So. who was in the script as Jimmy Olsen and Kevin Smith's Superman script, by the way. It's clearly Jason Mewes if you ever read it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would watch that. It would be kind of funny to watch Jason Mewes try and be Jimmy Olsen, like all wholesome. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Just
but
because
it had younger Jason Mewes.
Yeah. Oh, not
that would be funny.
Today. I mean, he's fucking Jimmy Olsen's grandpa. I mean, like back, you know, in the 1997 or something. But
although they could play it like the Louis Anderson character from Coming to America, where he's like, "Yeah, if I work, one day I can graduate to, you know, fry cook, and then one day maybe soda operator, and you know, years from now, assistant manager."
Oh no. So Timmy, how are you doing with all this, Tim? I mean, you technically are a Tim with two M's. Are you okay?
We got Timmy,
doing all right?
Timmy's in the chat. Huh?
It's actually him. He's like, hey, can you guys maybe stop making fun of me all the time?
I didn't really appreciate that intimidation joke, huh? Really hit home.
But Brian, if there was Tinder, I mean, that is the place, because that's what Bix was on, clearly. I mean, that was working for him. So I'm not gonna
bulky guys with beards, the Tinder, you know. Show up.
Hey,
no.
I
know. I was waiting for you to go.
Hey.
Well, no. Honestly, though, Jason, I got a nice text the other day from a friend of mine. It goes, "I'm listening to the Star Wars show that you're on. You're not on it, and they're talking mad shit about you." And I'm like, "Oh, I wasn't up at night."
You sleepy little bitch. That's what happens.
And I was like, you know what? I so don't care what they have to say. I feel no need to even listen to it. They can say whatever they want. I'm not interested in James's opinion. And I like Max's opinion for cartoons, but for live action, So, and Jason, make a song about it if you care so much.
Yeah, I did. Rick says, what did Tim say when he fell down the stairs? Timber. Hey, you. But
if no one's around to hear it or to see it, does a Tim scream if he's shot in the woods? You know, I don't know. Like, there's something there.
Tim,
I just
Timmy,
I should stare at him.
I like how the I think we were on the same page with when we saw the sex worker in Andor episode 1. We thought of SNL 1975. Is that why you picked the background? Are we on the same page?
What'd you just say?
Your background. Your background.
Yes. Yeah.
Did you pick that because of the sex worker in episode 1 of Andor? Because that's what I thought of too when I saw it as well. So and then I saw you do that, I was like, good job.
You have no idea how big a Gilda Radner fan I am, my friend.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Good work, Gene. Timmy said, no first time name in Star Wars. So disappointed. I mean, but he'd also flew so close to the sun. You know what I mean? Like the guy, like we saw a guy like peak. We saw him peak, and we saw him fall hard, fall right on his face. I mean, that was a Game of Thrones moment for the Tims, where you're like, yeah, the season starts this way. You have a cute little family, and you got all these little wolves you found in the forest, and you got your bastard son. Everything looks great, but at the end of it, your head's on a pole. And I gotta say, like, if I got to date Bix, and then man, if I have to get killed like a little bitch in the street by some fucking dudes dressed like Cloud Cars security forces from Bespin, man, I wouldn't want it to be in front of Bix though. Like I would want to be maybe like in front of Rob or something, but not Bix. That's hard. It's a hard one.
I'd rather die in front of Rob. It's always a good take, Jason. I understand.
Yeah. Die in front of Rob.
Here's the last thing you'll ever see, and then I speak with my ass, right? Jason, breathe.
Oh no!
Oh, Jason. Let me
What up,
ask
shitto?
you one question. Ah.
Yeah. So let's go back to the sister stuff for like a second. Do you think when he finally finds his sister, because like I gotta say, man, like I mean they were like little tiny kids together, but I have a hard time because telling how old Cassian is in those scenes because I think he looks like Darlene from Roseanne, and you think he looks like Corey Feldman
That's your
from Friday the
fetish. That's
13th.
my fetish.
Whatever.
Well, I would say a little bit more from License to Drive-ish, somewhere between License to Drive and Lost Boys, or maybe Lost Boys and Goonies, or was that in-between movie we didn't really get?
Yeah.
I guess that was Friday the 13th, but I wasn't big on that one. The one where he shaved his head.
Right.
Yeah,
But so I can't really tell how old he's supposed to be, but it does seem like when they meet, with how this show seems to keep it real, they might hug, but I don't think the sister's going to be a compatible person maybe by that point. I'm kind of like, you know what I'm saying? Like I don't, how many of us have family members or like a cousin or something? My actual cousin's cool, but like in general, where you meet him and they're like, "Oh, you're clearly on meth now." And like she's like clearly had it rough. I mean, she's probably been forced into sex work early on in life. It doesn't sound like she was like, this is like a personal decision I made because my OnlyFans really took off and I'm very sex positive. So I want to make some money with this chucha. I don't think that's like where it's, no, but I don't think that's where she's coming from in this show.
You'd love to have a hot OnlyFans page, but you're stuck here with the Star Wars nerds.
Dude. Fucking I'd fucking, if I had a vagina, oh my god, this thing would be a fucking purse. It'd be fucking Aladdin's castle tokens just be flying out of it. I'd be able to play all the video games I ever wanted. But
all I see is Chuck E. Cheese tokens.
Same. They were compatible. They were very compatible. You could literally use them. Yeah. We at times we would go to Chuck E. Cheese and buy the $5 thing and take it over to Aladdin's castle. Because at Chuck E. Cheese, they would give you like $4 extra if you bought $5 at times. We would go then and take it over to Aladdin's castle and play. Because they had the real big boy games. Because I was a big boy, Rob. But
yeah.
Yes, but anyways, I'm expecting it to be like almost like a bittersweet kind of like reunion, and then it to be somewhat terrible, or she's gonna like rob him, but she's also had her own adventures out in the Star Wars galaxy. You would think as well, probably bad, but whatever. However you want to look at it, like he's lucky he got himself a fucking stable white lady to take care of him and move him off planet. He got adopted basically, and she clearly doesn't. So I'm curious to see if we're going to have contention in the future stories with Andor having this new path, this new not secret service, but like CIA path put in front of him for the good guys. But then he's going to have this sister she's going to have her own problems, right? That's going to be the foil, right? I mean, doesn't that seem like a logical structure?
Home again, Jason? Can you rebuild?
You can't.
Is it possible?
It's
and
not.
The answer is no.
But I mean, we know even if we wanted to, there could be a story where we go all the way through all of this, and by the end of it, the war ends, and then we have like, oh my god, like what do we do with ourselves now? And they're like, well, we go home and we go back to our village. But we know that doesn't happen for Cassian. We know that he's going to die on a beach hugging a stranger with a blind guy. Like that's his fate. And
that's the sadness of for me, the real sadness of the third episode is when you see the beginning of him with the family, and BMO's new, and his dad is new adoptive father's new. All that's there. ending his old family, but then like at the same time, BMO's like nearly that droid's dying. His mom's almost dead. His father's got right. Like all those things you can't. It's all gone, right? Like it life constantly. There's these parts of your life where everything shifts into another stage, and there's never any going back. And even if you try to recoup what you lost, it's never whatever that is now is not what you lost. It's become something else. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I mean, that's sort of how I feel about like, you know, like we always talk about our moms. We both have interesting moms, to say the least. And it's like I didn't see you from when I was like 11 until I heard it from you again when I was like 15. You missed the window. We're never going to connect. Like you're not my kind of person. And so that's broken. It's just, it doesn't go back. And yeah, so I kind of think this isn't like a critical thing of Star Wars, of the show. I don't mean it like in a bad way. I am really curious though, where is the moment? Is there one where it's like, oh, okay, they don't 100% keep it real now because this is Star Wars. Like you know how like that's sort of something that you're able to say on everything that's come out before the show. If you had any kind of like most of the criticisms, not that it should be an out, but it is to some extent. It's usually like, yeah, but it's like a Star Wars, you know.
It got a giant pass from me until Attack of the Clones.
Mm-hmm.
And I just couldn't see how we spent a whole movie with a woman who is literally the queen of a people that she cares about. She's learned to care about every being on that planet, right? Not just the humans, the frogs too.
Yeah.
And then this dude's like, yeah, I killed a bunch of kids. And she's like, I love you. Like, I just can't get past that idea. Like, I just can't do it. They go, well, Star Wars. I'm like, and it's bad. It's bad Star Wars. There's bad everything. There's bad Marvel. There's bad Star Trek. That's a bad.
I had a on a dating app. I had a message from a very attractive lady a couple of days ago, and when I was like, "Holy shit!" I said, I didn't even read it. I said, "Yeah." I was like, "Fuck yeah!" And then I read it, and she was like, it had a line, and it was like, "We agree, Trump won the election."
Oh shit!
For about for 1 second, I was like, and then I was like, I unmatched. I said, never mind. I know where Padme was coming from. I can empathize because Hayden Christensen, that's probably like the hottest dude that she's ever got to hang out with. You know, she's mostly like fucking banging it out with C.O. Bibble and shit. Let's be real. That's what she's pulling.
Nah, at this point, she's living
C.O.
on
Bibbles.
Coruscant. When she got to Coruscant, she wrecked her way through the underworld. You know what I mean? She put it on.
She put on one of those like little masks and had her OnlyFans and was like, you can't tell who I am. Who wants to buy my chocha? Okay, so that's my thing today.
See, unfortunately though, Finn thought it was OnlyFins, and he showed up to that page and did not get the response he wanted. Never can't seem to win in Star Wars, Finn.
Afternoon, Mr. Baymax. And Quentin. Hey, Quentin. How's it going? How are you, man? But yeah. So okay. So here I'm gonna throw out. I'm gonna irritate Rob, and I'm gonna like share my Star Wars theory that I don't think is probably accurate at all, but I'm gonna share it just in case we end up getting more pieces, because there could be stuff going on here, but there's probably not. But there could be, like when I'm like watching that first episode or the first arc, I can't even remember what happens episode to episode. I kind of see it as like one movie now because I've watched it a couple of times, like all together. But so we have these like pieces that are presented in the narrative, and there's things that you could glean from it. And there's like there are some obvious answers and some that aren't, but there's so much like ambiguity because the kids are supposed to be confused, I think. So we have that moment where the ship is coming down, right? And as I was like watching it, I was like, "Where's that ship coming from?" We're led to assume the ship is coming from space and coming to the planet, but I was like, what if the ship is trying to leave the planet and goes down? What if it's attempting to flee and it doesn't make it? And there are things going on, like that planet is toxic. That's what Karn's computer stuff says. The planet is toxic. And so something is going on there, potentially. And then we have Cassa, the child Cassian, see the strip mine, and there's no parents. And I assume the parents were working in the mines. Maybe they were enslaved. Maybe they stripped it and then they were enslaved off to another mine somewhere else, just leaving the children behind. But maybe there was an environmental disaster in what they were doing, which is a common theme in these sort of the Gilroy Star Wars universe stuff, but with the corpos and all that. Like we see that a lot in those stories. And even when they blow up Jeddah, they blame it on an environmental disaster, a mining operation mistake.
Sorry, your parents got canceled, Andor.
Right. But I think the logical assumption is to assume that they had a reactor leak of some kind on the ship. The guys put on the gas mask. It doesn't work. They crash. The spaceman gets out, shoots at the kids. He wasn't
very, very bad reactor leak. Everything's fine.
Yeah.
We're all fine down here.
Yeah, we're just a little yellow.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also one thing I want to talk about eventually too is the color yellow. By the way, I don't know if there's something going on there. It might just be coincidence, but anyways, so but we have this whole kind of like thing where the ship goes down. There's no parents. There's nobody there. The planet is supposedly toxic, I believe, and those guys die. Then later on, we have Maerva, who's old, but also dying and needs like medicine and stuff. And I was like, as I was like looking at it, I was like, what if everybody on that planet is not going to live a full life because of what happened? What if like Cassian's not expected? You know what I mean? Like what if, like people who come out of these certain places in these disasters don't live to be 40? What if like Cassian's days are kind of numbered? And that's sort of when he is able to go like sort of, full in on this spy stuff and become like the best one because he literally has like nothing to lose, or something. But it's probably not the case. But I was like, as I'm like looking at it, sort of like food for thought. But I'm not saying that's what's going to happen. I'm not betting on that's what's going to happen.
I wouldn't bet on that.
I wouldn't bet on it. Yeah,
I wouldn't put it down.
but it is, there are a lot of, like I said, like that is where the most like confusing stuff of the series happens, and the stuff like that I think will get filled in. Like I think it could get filled in anyways. Early on, we had the kids on the other planet when Cassian's going to get dropped off on the Highland planet. And when he gets dropped off there, we thought that stuff were the same kids looking up at the TIE fighters and stuff. And that's what confused the era for a lot of people while watching the trailers. But, but anyways, I'm just trying to look at the context clues and trying to figure out, could there be more going on here? But there's probably not. But Quentin is toxic. I disagree. He's one of the least toxic people I've ever met, actually, on the internet. But yeah, but that was like
maybe it's like a Britney Spears compliment. You're toxic, like that.
Oh,
maybe they meant it that way.
Yeah, it's Britney, bitch. So
I'm the imagination killer. So
did you pick up on the like the color yellow stuff? Do you think it's significant, or you think it's just preference? Like all of Cass's people are wearing
your eye in a shot. Yeah,
because Cass's people are all wearing yellow. Bix and the good guys in the territory are all wearing shades of yellow. And I was like looking at it, and I was like, and then even the spaceman who's a separatist who shoots at the kids and is clearly a bad person. He was wearing yellow though too, so he kind of like ruins the stuff. But I was like, are they gonna do a thing like where all of the yellows start to turn to orange to be like that rebel X-wing pilot kind of like, are they doing something with color here, or am I just like, is it just the preference for what pops? Does yellow pop nice and dinge? Like,
Yeah,
you know
it's
what I
more of a
mean?
I'm gonna, if this were animation,
Mm-hmm.
I would say you might be onto something because they have time to put every little item up on a wall, right? They have the years to put everything up on a wall and then figure all this out. But in production, you're like, this, that. You know what
Yeah,
I mean? You get a quick comp on the wall. Yeah, that looks cool. Move on. And then, like someone in production might be clever and be doing it, on their own. Like, oh, and this means that. But that's like when I'm like the 15th person in line on a 3D model, and I add my little thing and like, did you mean to do that? Yeah, I did, but they didn't mean to do that. I just meant to do that. So there's probably
right.
something there, but when it's used like on the box and the ship and stuff, it's designed that there's no yellow so that when it pops open you look right there. Like there's nothing like that in that
Yeah,
environment. So
because I found it interesting that the guys who get infected from the contaminated by whatever from the environmental disaster or from the reactor, whatever it happened to be, the mine or the leak, they turn yellow too. And I was like, and it was sort of like a contagion kind of vibe to it. And I was like, is this like symbolic? Because there is symbolic stuff going on. Like I said, like
yeah.
little Cassian taking the stick, seeing his reflection in the machine, and then deciding to destroy the fucking machine. That's what we were talking. Like, I guess that's like a very George Lucas moment, right? You know what I mean? That's and
Sure.
so and I'm like, yeah. So I don't want to be like the person who overreads. Yeah.
Right. There's a difference between symbolism and what that majority of the internet does.
Mm-hmm.
And it's they try to start mystery boxing every little color, and it must mean something. It's a secret
Yeah.
plot point that's buried in this fucking novel, in the series, and the one thing that it's not. Stop with
However,
the
on
fucking,
the new
the hype maps, whatever you want to call it.
House of Dragons, green is highly significant, and the Hot Queen puts on green, and you're like, oh, she's going to war. But then she does some surprising stuff. But whoa, it's pretty green, buddy. I mean, she's no Bix, but the adult version of her, it's kind of like my other Bix on TV. Anyways, Aria, it's my side Bix. Side Bix.
Yeah, staying out of all these puns. They're just too easy. And
we can't help
for getting
ourselves.
myself into all sorts of trouble.
Hey, if they, I mean, no, and I do think it is important in all of the joking that we're doing, though. The Adria Arjona, who plays Bix, she's a really good actor. She does a really, really good performance, and she is more than eye candy in the show and in the in those like scenes. But man, she's just the whole thing, though. Gotta give her some love. Baymax says, I flew from London to Newark yesterday and watched the 3 episodes twice again. All right. So
busy person, Baymax. Busy person.
Now, Baymax, I believe, is having to deal with the fact, with the dysfunction of a society who still holds some reverence for monarchy and it dying. And instead of celebrating
America?
it, they shut shit down and make everything difficult. We're all stupid. We're all fucking stupid. I mean, it's just I think it's all just to make us think that our version of democracy could be worse. It's just like, but it's bullshit. Cassian says, I like the idea.
Stick around. It's gonna get worse. Give it a few years, Jason.
I'm gonna go a little Princess Leia for all of the horrible things of the last couple of years. There's been some pretty good moments though where we do see the tenets of democracy working slow, but working. You know what I mean? We've had some wins this week, and I'm excited. I'm hopeful, but also very realistic. And I will go down and be a Debbie Downer in a couple of minutes, probably. But right now, I'm feeling optimistic about this person. Yeah, about this, about our secret, our orange Sith Lord who keeps trying to hang himself. Cassian says, Yeah, he does. I mean, he keeps doing it. I like the idea.
One day, you know.
Yeah. Talk about somebody who just can't, though. I mean, while he lost the election, he won. You're somebody who won, and then you don't know what to do once you won because you all have been a secret loser for so long, pretending to be a winner that you just couldn't leave well enough alone. Anyways, like me with spoilers, time to quit. Cassian says, I like the idea the ship was leaving and not landing. Yeah, Baymax, having watched it a couple of times, what do you think about that? Do you think that's possible? Like even if it's not all of the further conclusion I made, could they have been trying to flee the planet and then having crashed and because of the mining accident? But then the kids are living there fine. But the kids are living there fine. So does that mean it was a facade for something else? Does that planet, like, are we going to learn that planet's actually like Scarif or something? Like as time goes on, that they pretended like it was like, well,
I don't think we're gonna do that.
But what I'm saying, I mean, we're speculating, and you're probably right. It's speculation is almost always probably wrong, but it's like they come up with a cover story to do something else. So is the mining thing a real thing, or was it a cover story for something else? Also, I'm just trying to say, those kids all look. I've seen all of those kids on acting websites. I think all of those kids, Casa included, are crisis actors.
They're Casa Incorporated.
K-A-I-S-S-A-Z. Oh no, that's the real song.
Yeah.
When I was a little kid, I was watching Kids Incorporated, and there was a girl on there, and I thought she was the most beautiful girl I ever saw. And I asked my mom to get me a guitar because I wanted to learn how to play and sing so I could be on Kids Incorporated. Nothing changed. Bix, did you hear my song, Bix? Bix, did you hear my song?
Bix wasn't even born when Kids Incorporated was out.
We're gonna die.
Oh, you mean this song?
We're mortal. We're gonna die. Time marches on. Baymax says yellow usually insinuates sickness. Could be lifted straight out of concept art. Felt like the effects of a virus or poison. Yeah. No, it's completely. I mean, it's like those guys are completely contaminated with something. The first time I watched it, I actually didn't pick up on it. I just thought Star Wars got yellow people now. Yeah, that's what I thought when I saw it. I didn't like for whatever reason.
Dermot Powers look. I see him painting some yellow folks.
I mean, if you could have fucking blue people, you know.
We got every other fucking color, and we got orange, blue, red. We got them all.
Yeah. But yellow means an airborne disease.
I want the taupe alien race. They're very soothing.
Yellow is a Coldplay reference. Yeah. Turns out Tony Gilroy has this weakness for Coldplay.
Who doesn't?
Cassian, how good is Bix in the sheets? I'm gonna give Cassian some credit here. I think he was doing a good job because, you know, she had that 6 foot hot look all-American man. You'll get the reference. But she was still about that little guy. You'll also get the reference. So it makes sense. It makes sense that because she still clearly wants the Cassian. He's just a fuck up, and that is like the main problem. I gotta say though, as I watched it, the thing I've enjoyed about Bix as a character is that they didn't make her completely 100% moral, and I don't mean the sex stuff. I mean she's like skimming off the top and stuff. She's in certain ways no better than him necessarily morally, but she also isn't as stupid as him. That's kind of that's like the difference. Her superiority isn't in her morality necessarily. It's in her intellect. She's not a fucking idiot. Like she knows how to play her cards right, which is also probably why Skarsgård's character, what's his name? Like Helen Hunt or something? Helen Skarsgård. I can't remember this character's name. I always forget it. But why he does business with her and why she's sticking her neck out to let Cassian do business with him. I think she knows it's a bad idea. But interesting. I like that. I like that they didn't make her like, like George Lucas. He'd have been like, she's the most ideal woman of all time. You could kill all the kids and she'd still love you. She'd still love you. I mean, that is the true thing with Padme, though. When you look at her, she's George's. That's George's George's ideal, isn't it?
That's well, she would also wear a choker.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? A little choker. Yeah,
with the little fire going. I'm with you, George.
I mean, who doesn't like a woman who skims off the top, right, Marsha? I mean,
oh, you do. I mean, clearly you do. You have a history of it, right?
Yeah, it happens. Yeah, you just can't let them near. You can't let them near the old vault, the old money bin. I love DuckTales. I'm gonna go watch it. Peace.
Bye. Yeah, George Lucas has one of the largest collections of the Scrooge McDuck comic stuff. The Huey, Dewey, Louie.
That was the reference.
I'm not telling you.
Oh,
I know that you know. Right. I'm telling them. And when the Lucas Museum opens in Los Angeles, it's going to have a lot of that original stuff that's going to be in there.
I love that he took all that toy money and bought Scrooge McDuck art. You know what I mean? Fucking love it. Like,
yeah. I mean, what else are you gonna do?
I love it. Yeah.
Although he and Spielberg together, their combined collection of Norman Rockwell art is supposedly the biggest in the world. But I got to be honest with you, I want to beat the shit out of Norman Rockwell. Whenever I see that shit, it just makes me angry.
I just want to see a series about those two, like a Netflix series, trying to out collect Norman Rockwell art with one. Like,
if I were a good artist, I would start doing Norman Rockwell art. That was the truth, though. Has anyone if anybody's ever done that? That would look really cool. You know what I'm saying? Instead of like that little idyllic shit. Oh, let's show what it was like. Did Norman Rockwell ever play a black person? I have no idea. But
yeah, he did. It's a really famous piece, actually.
Is he in the okay? It's been a while, but fuck Norman Rockwell.
Yeah, it's been a while for you, Jason.
I hate Norman Rockwell.
I'm just gonna let this one. I'm gonna save you from digging a deeper hole here and ask you.
Hey, I was positive for a few minutes earlier, dude. All right. I need to balance out. But
let's talk about Linedecker.
Yeah. No. Yeah, because like I always think of like the like little girl on the stairs and shit like that, you know. But anyways, yeah, you're right though. I forgot about the he did the little girl like going to school, right?
Yes.
will the laser ship scene and Plo Koon scene happen on episode 4? That's a good.
Da Vinci never paints women who smile. You know what I'm saying? Why don't they fucking smile sometime?
Just smile a little bit. Huh? Hey, Bix, why don't you smile a little bit?
Yeah.
Cassian says, true story. Arya.
It's a resting Bix face.
The resting Bix face. That's going to be the name of tomorrow's episode if there's no news.
So dumb.
Arya says, the ship crashed near the massive mine. Does it make sense if it was shot down, then rotated back and crashed? I mean, I feel like the shot itself kind of doesn't make necessarily like visual sense. I think it's the shot is just composed to be good from the perspective of the children looking at it, you know, and like what's happening in frame. And I've looked at it, and you know, they go the loop-de-loops, the zoops and zips and zaps and zooms. You know what I mean? You could really make it whatever you want.
What are you, the president, 45th president, trying to describe aerial maneuvers?
It was worse. I think I was going Bill Cosby.
The zips and the zooms, and then I raped Jason. Like, whoa,
no.
Shit, dude.
I'm safe because he could get my hair wet and slick it back. It ain't gonna work for him.
My second favorite epic rap battles of all time is the Bill Cosby shows up we got Joan Rivers in there, but the guy shows up and then he like roofies himself,
yeah,
falls down.
Stupid.
Resting
Joan Rivers shows
up. Whoever played Joan Rivers in that video she's so good, dude. She should be playing Joan Rivers.
Yeah.
You should watch that if you haven't seen it. George Carlin. Was it Richard Pryor, George Carlin? Kaj shows up. Yeah, it's a
Also,
comedian one. It's super good.
if you weren't aware that Joan Rivers is actually cool and not just the E stuff, listen to the Joan Rivers episodes with Stern, and man, she seemed
They're
fucking
brilliant.
awesome. She seemed like she'd be fucking
yeah.
cool as shit to hang out with, you know?
Yeah, it's a real. That one really got to me when she died. I was like, "There's no fucking way this is natural." And it turned out not to be. And it just pissed me off to no end.
What do you mean it wasn't natural? You think it was? You think she was killed?
Her surgeon fucked that up. Yeah.
Was it a propofol situation, like a Michael Jackson thing?
Fucking thing. No, like during surgery, like overdosed the whatever.
Oh, yeah. I see. He was like, I love J-Lo and I don't appreciate your jokes about her. Die. Baymax says, Marva called the guys in CIS uniforms Republic troopers. So there's something odd going on. She called them Republic troopers. I remember her saying like the Republic is coming. And so I thought that it was like a CIS ship that was shot down and the Republic was going to come to like take the prisoners, or they shot it down. My assumption was that if they shot it down, but would be kind of interesting in a way if like we don't really learn in the series, but we learn through the books or something that those were like Republic spies. And in a weird way, Cassian's always been in this spy world without even sort of knowing it, the ramifications of it or something. But Marva called the guys in CIS uniforms Republic troopers. But also, why would Marva know? Is the other weird thing, because the impression I get from them is just that they are completely apolitical scavengers, you know. But then later on, she's like, "Our reckoning's coming," and you're like, "Okay, that doesn't seem like they're apolitical scavengers," you know.
Well, you go from apolitical scavenger to fucking
oppressed.
Literally, like like pre-rebellion when you see your husband hung in the streets by the Empire. 100%. You know what I mean? Like,
Rule Farm Boy's new name is now Recall Farm Boy. Whenever my recall is messed up, Rule Farm Boy will step in and set it straight for us. Stellan Skarsgård is Luthen. That's right. Marva called those guys up. So Marva could have been in cahoots to bring the ship down. It's true, but they're also. Could she have been in cahoots? Do you think she was in cahoots to steal to shoot the ship down, but also stealing stuff from it in secret?
She was surprised to see that they had the loot they had on the ship. She's like, "Oh, they got that shit," you know. Like, yeah. I just think that when you're trying to find import, scavenge stuff on the fly, you're probably like one of those cats that's, there's a battle, let's sit outside and wait out the battle, and when something goes down there and get something before they can retreat, you know what I mean? You're probably like battle watching and shit, like the way certain dictators will like watch battles from afar and shit, but they're doing it for like sitting outside. I wonder if there is a thing about like scavengers in war who would wait outside of battles and then pilfer them. That's probably pretty common deal. I mean, it's in Patton, right?
And right? With yeah, that's how he got the Spear of Destiny and died for giving it away. Because when you give away the Spear of Destiny, you die. It's cursed. But
should put Patton in Hellboy.
Watch that.
Scott. I watch that.
Matt Risman says, but Marva and her husband also had masks on, so they had to know something about the ship to have the mask on initially, right? Or did they know something about the world? Like that?
No, they took it off. Because he said it's fine, and so it probably didn't know there was a leak or contamination on the ship, and then because they're not wearing it when they leave.
If your explanation is the Occam's razor, like one that I actually go with, but they all die.
This is YouTube, and we need to fill up an hour here. And
well, we don't know. This is what happens when we don't know all the spoilers, and we have to fill out what are the possibilities of the twists and turns of this bitch. Are there any?
Shame on you for not knowing all the spoilers, Jason.
I know, right? Hey, I asked people at one point, what do you want? You want Kenobi? You want Andor? They all said Kenobi.
You didn't ask me. Yeah, whatever.
I don't know. I don't know. No, I mean that's with like hindsight though. Let's pretend like would you have said
No,
Andor at
I'm
that
not.
point?
Yeah, I would have because I'm
No.
not interested in the prequels. It's up to them to like make the prequels interesting to me. So
Yeah, that I thought that's maybe why you might have been interested though. But Marva is no angel. She's a great area. Yeah, I mean, I kind of think that's what you have. I think you have essentially like in a weird way, almost like a cosmic metaphor to use my words poorly, is that you have the real evil side running everything, and so people are going to have to do bad things to survive. So people that would be good people in a stable environment are now pushed into a gray area because that's what's happened. I mean, Cassian should have got a scholarship when went to college. I mean, let's he could have went to some college on Alderaan or
I went to
something.
Full Sail.
Yeah, but instead he went to Full Sail.
And I'm
But
saddled with all this debt around town. I'm never getting rid of it.
yeah, I went to Trump University. Brian
Look,
says,
that's the one that gets me, man. When people go, he settled for 25 million. That's not an insubstantial amount of money, bro. Like, and they give him a giant pass on that fucking one.
yeah,
Ridiculous.
I say forgive it all. Let's just start fresh, clean slate. Brian Stone says, didn't Iraqis grab brass after it was shot to make stuff or sell it? Oh yeah, I mean, also Three Kings, man. Three Kings. Kidding,
Right.
kind of. Matt Risman says the gas was coming out of the ship when they panned to the opening. So we did see the yellow gas coming out of the ship. So Matt Risman says it's the bulba farts because everybody knows the bulba farts are yellow. I've always known that. Don't ask me why. I just do. Matt Risman says the door open. Okay.
I'm doing the mental check. Yeah, that's right. They are.
Yeah. Quentin Time says, "Oop, got a jet. Got to pick the lady up for the train." Oh shit, that's like romantic and shit. You better put like on a suit and have like a stopwatch, and like do that moment from Airplane. Remember when she's running and she hits the pole? I like that.
Oh
It's
yeah.
stupid.
Boom.
King Chris says, actually, he's picking her up though. Yo, what's up, everyone? Didn't get a notification, so I'm late to the party. Sorry, King Chris. This week has been really weird for me because it's my kids. I got two kids, and they both have parent-teacher conferences, but the teachers have to do them all day. So like this show is going to end in just a minute here because they're going to be getting out of school. And
that's cool because we're hitting about an hour. So.
Yeah. Today we'll do about an hour today, and yeah. So it's just kind of the way it's going to be this week. But the good news is before the show happened, I was getting ready. My power went out twice, just poof, and then came back on. And I was like, "Come on, don't do it during the show." I'm like, his sister's name is Ka, and then it goes out.
And you bam.
That's the So Matt says that's the only reason I'm saying the gas was on the ship via the versus the world. Yeah. I do think the reactor leak is the most likely scenario, and the only, based off of what you're saying, the only way it's going to make any sense is if they were leaving the mine and the gas was in the ship and they had the mask on when they boarded the ship and still didn't make it off. Like I said, there's ways of making it work, but I don't think that's what it's going to be. But I am just going like, okay, let's look at this conspiratorial and then just see if we start to get any more clues that it's going one way or the other. There might just be something as simple as that. It was just, there was like so many like mysterious things going on at once, but also I think it's because the narrative wanted us to see how Casa is sort of lost in this universe. He doesn't know what the fuck's going on. I mean, when he sees that droid, that's apparently the first time he's ever seen a droid almost. But I also found that like a little bit weird because wouldn't he have seen battle droids? Maybe, I don't know. But anyways, that thing freaked him out, But yeah, I mean, those kids might have just been Lord of the Fliesing it for a year or two during the war. You know what I mean? Who knows what the story is there? So, but I did remember, by the way, this really dumb thing. I remember being like a kid and going to there was this. Did you ever go to Kristen Pits, Rob? You ever know the Kristen Pitts restaurants, or was that too far from the San Diego area?
Too far.
There's
Too far.
there's like a couple of them. It's like a barbecue place that's like really big, like out kind of like where I'm at.
They had
And
Dickie's
mm,
barbecue. That was like the thing. I didn't like it.
okay, yeah. I was never not a huge Kristen Pitts guy. It's one of those places that used to have sawdust on the floor in the '60s. Everybody thought it was real fun. And then by the time I'm a kid, it's
like
just a normal
peanuts
restaurant.
all over the fucking place. Yeah.
Not like Northman, not like yeah, what's that place called? Northman's Inn. So, anyways, there was a military surplus store next door to it, and we're like waiting. I had like a 45-minute wait for this restaurant when I'm a kid. My dad's all, "Let's go in there," and I go in there, and he's like, "You want to buy something?" I'm like, "I want a knife." So I tried to buy a knife. My dad said no. He wouldn't let me buy a knife, and then but I ended up buying at the military surplus store this like can of the paint that the army guys or the military guys put on their faces to like camouflage their faces.
The Vietnam era tubes.
Yeah, little like a little metal tube,
like,
and it was like it was like real chalky, and like you could tell it was like expired probably too.
Yeah.
And I remember like putting it on my face and being like doing that and being like, I like cool. But I was like, that was my toy. This is my toy, and I'm just like keep putting the shit all over my face, and then it didn't wash off. It wasn't fun.
No, and then you got
Agent
fun. Orange.
Yeah, probably.
And that's how Jason shaved 7 years off his life.
And that's where my theory came from. That's how this is going to go in the Andor show.
It all full circle. See?
Baymax says, when the kids approach the toxic yellow smoke, it's billowing out of the side of the ship. I translated the Arabic on the side. It reads, the fandom menace. Are you joking? Are you joking right now? Does it really say that? No, I think he's joking. But because it's toxic. But that would be funny if Gilroy did do that. Yeah, if that was on there, I think all of those guys would be fucking crying about it, playing the victim, fucking rolling around like fucking pigs in the filth that they love to bask in. That's yeah.
Remember that episode of South Park when Cartman's mom told him no, and he threw the biggest tantrum in the world? Like that's what it would be like.
Yeah. I want to do stunts where I say I'm quitting Star Wars because it made me mad, and then do a Star Wars video the very next day about it.
They're right back. That they were supposed to all quit this stuff by now. It's Kathleen Kennedy. Is she won or lost the Civil War? Is she getting recruitments? Is she annexing? Is she conscripting YouTubers to join in the fight? I don't like. Whatever happened to that? there are like friends of the show that, for instance, loved Andor and hated Kenobi, and that loved Kenobi and hate Andor, like because these are different flavors. But God, when you have hated everything since The Force Awakens, like it's just this shit ain't for you, or you're grifting off of it, or you're really a Marvel person who just sees a way to supplement some of that fucking sweet AdSense cash with Star Wars. And it's just like the fandoms are so fucking stupid they can't put it together. They hate a lot of Marvel too, bro. You know what
Probably.
I mean?
Yeah, I know.
If it features a woman, they hate it. I assure you.
Yeah. It's the way it goes. I mean, but you know, I completely respect anybody that was like, you know what? I can watch Andor and it was boring. Like it was boring to me. Because if it's, you know, you don't need to go like, you know, you don't need to be like, oh, this is Star Wars in leather bound books, therefore it's good. If it's boring to you, it's boring to you. Yeah, it is. But if it's boring to you, it's boring to you. You know what I mean? Like, and I completely like. A lot of times people will make it seem like that's what I'm doing to them or whatever. But it's
now
not.
They know, Jason. But
it's
now
when
they
you
know
hate
how I feel.
Everything.
Now you know how I feel when I watch the Clone Wars cartoon. For me, it's boring. I just don't want to sit through it.
No, but you haven't watched the good ones. You gotta watch the Jason curation. One of these days. One of these days, and then when you watch, when you watch the Jason curation, if I say this is a 10, and you go that was a 2, then you go for sure. But you can't watch the Clone Wars film and then talk about the series whatsoever. Like I would say the Clone Wars
individual episode, they bore the shit out of me, bro. Like, it's sorry. I tried, man.
I promise. I promise. Promise. There are things. One of these days, if you just want to like watch something, and then even if you like it secretly like it, hate it for the show, watch the Umbara arc with that Krell stuff, and you're gonna be like, this is what Star Wars animation should be. I promise you. It's not Andor, but it's the Andor version of that. I think you'd love it. I think you'd see how it translates. But
you ever been
King
to
Chris,
Provo? Think you'd like it. Think you do well there.
we're talking about the He-Man Woman Haters Club. Yeah. The truth is about like about the like grifters. I honestly, like, I don't know if I believe that they hate women. I don't know if I believe that they're racist. I don't know their hearts. But the thing that I do know is that they are people who will say anything for money. They have no allegiance to anything, anywhere. They don't love anything, but they love making a couple of bucks. That's validation for them, ultimately. And
I don't know their hearts, but I can smell their farts.
Exactly. There's, and yeah, I mean, it's at this point though, I don't have any sympathy for anybody who's still following any of those clowns in that sphere, because you know, if you haven't wised up by now, you just might be fucking stupid. So that's my take on all of it.
I wish we could get that show trending. You just might be fucking stupid.
You just might be fucking stupid. Yeah, it's true. But you know, there's like this like overlap of people that like, but there's this overlap of people who go, oh, I don't like that, therefore I'm them. And no, it's not sports. That's how it works, you know, in football. You know what I mean? I don't like this team, therefore I'm supporting this team in this game I am watching now. And it's just like, no, that's not what this is. This is different. Kinker says they'll drive the Lambo right into the pit of obscurity. I don't know about that. In my experience, the worst people with no rules do the best. It's just, I don't know how they sleep at night. Some of them, not anybody with the Lambo specifically. I'm not talking about anybody specifically, but I don't get it, man. I don't get it. But anyways, thank you, Bespin Bulletin, for bringing us a story today for the show. You are the best in the West. And we'll be back tomorrow talking about some Star Wars. I'm hoping that they
Sorry, we're coming back tomorrow.
No, my one here's the thing I'm going to be critical of. I'm going to find
Saturday.
Oh, is it tomorrow? Fuck you guys. Fuck you guys. You guys could go
over. Pizza day, Jason, is pizza day over
here. You didn't remind me. I would have had pizza today. I needed some pizza today. No, but I had some. Oh yeah. Like when I watch like Game of Thrones and the stuff like this show is doing right now, this Cassian show, they give me a little thing going, what's coming next week, a little bit of further intrigue. And where's our clip? We need our next time on Andor clips to come. That's what I need. I hope they start doing that.
I don't like that.
I love it. I fucking love it.
I don't like it. I don't like it on my anime. I don't like it on TV. I don't like it. I want to just be surprised.
I don't like it when I'm watching Game of Thrones that's been out for years, and it gives me the last time on Game of Thrones. No, that's we needed that when the show came out, not now.
I only like it on Buffy because I like Rupert Heed when he goes previously on Buffy, and I'm like, damn, that's good. Wish I could talk like that.
Yeah.
Ripper.
All right. So we won't be back tomorrow unless some big news happens or something like that. Before we go, a moment of silence.
I will not be back tomorrow, even if big news happens.
I will.
See you Monday.
And thank you to everybody for being a channel member. Thank you for all the super chats today. I appreciate it. Means a lot. And thank you to everyone who's a channel member, especially the channel members and the Patreon supporters. Love you guys. Thank you. And see everybody Monday. And take that resting Bix face off and enjoy your weekend.
It's the end of the show.
Come on, let's go. Hey!
It's the end of the show.
Come on, let's go. Hey!
It's the end of the show.
Come on, let's go. Hey!
You know you should go.
Come on, let's go. It's not about spaceships.